Hey, before the podcast gets started, make sure to go cop some t-shirts. I'm gonna take you out to the website. YouTube demonetized me, so your boy broke as fuck. So if you want to help support me, hold on, let me pull this up. Oh, this is Stu's site. You can fuck with Stu too, but let me show y'all mine first. I'm the priority here, motherfucker. This is my shit. All right, so you got the Game Time tee, Game Time on the front, oversized tee, Team Macho on the back. You got the I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not supposed to curse in the first minute, but fuck it. I'm already demonetized, niggas. Facts. So yeah, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm a bodybuilder. Yeah, so whatever you want to fuck with it. If you don't want to fuck with it, that's okay too. All right. Facts. So yeah, like if you want, hey, if you don't even support me, if you support Kane, if you like dogs, if you want Kane to stay on his diet, you know what I'm saying, keep getting brolic, keep getting buff, fuck with some t-shirts. All right. If not, Kane gonna be hungry. I'll put the camera on him, but he's sleeping right now. They don't. That's why I said buff. I'm like, they don't know what brolic mean. If you're not from New York, you probably don't know. But anyway, support Stu as well, because he do this podcast, and I like to support my friend's business. Unlike everybody else who go rock Gucci and all that shit, I rock with my boys. So go cop Stu stuff. Beefstew.net. He got the Fear the Fro shirt. That's my favorite right there. Fear the Fro Stu. And then he got this serious bodybuilder one, Beef Stew with the abs and thighs. Oh, he cheaper than mine. His is $28. Damn. I gotta drop my rate. I gotta match that rate. The motherfuckers cop my shit. But anyways, I don't want to make this too long. Team Macho, that shop, and beefstew.net. Fuck with your boys. Enjoy the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You don't really get fat though.
I got fat. I think
really?
To me, yeah, I got softer than usual. I don't know, like I'm just so used to like a different type of conditioning going into a prep, but like where I'm at right now, I have to think positively about it. I think negatively because I just see body fat, but maybe the muscularity gains are the benefit.
Yeah.
To it all.
What's up, Rafe?
What's up, man? You hear me?
Yeah, you're perfect. Rafe, Alyssa, Rafe.
Nice to meet you.
Rafe. Nice to meet you, Rafe.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn that there's a balance between that, because I still believe that if you push the calories higher, you may get a higher rate of adding muscle tissue, but I also believe if you add way too much fat, that while dieting down, your performance goes down, right? Your recovery goes down. The workouts aren't as good, and sometimes you might lose some tissue, or you might just come in flat or beat up looking, right? Which doesn't make you look your best, you know. So some people can get away with a little more fat, like Joe. You know, used to he doesn't anymore, but he used to put on quite a bit of fat, but he would lose it, still keep all the muscle, you know. So there's always you kind of know your own sweet spot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you feel like you kind of exceeded that sweet spot as far as body fat, or close?
I don't know. Like it's just my body looks good sometimes, and then like just now I took pictures post workout, and I'm like, damn, my glutes.
Yeah.
But again, like I'm off. I'm not really doing cardio. I have now. I'm a couple days back on with my coach now, but I want to like clean things up. But I did things right. Like I prepped, rebounded, came off subs. Now I'm back on. Like I'm trying to do things correctly.
Well,
I don't know. We'll see.
After a workout, you tend to retain a little water anyway, right? You're not as super dry, so.
This is true.
Is this recent?
That was yesterday.
That's
yeah, Yeah, that's what, when I see you off season, you look like you hold water, but not really much body fat. You know,
You
I
just pull.
am.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a couple days back on with Yasin, and I've been doing cardio, and I like doing cardio at night versus first thing in the morning because I sleep like shit, so I don't get to perform like the way I want to. So I'm gonna start doing cardio at night, and I sweat a lot, so I am holding a lot of water,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I really don't. I was eating pretty shitty there for a second, but I'm not eating too dirty now. I've cleaned things
Yeah.
up.
Are you,
But
Yeah.
what show you gunning for?
Texas Pro
And that's
says
in
August.
okay, okay. Yeah.
I don't want to rush to do another show. I have my people can want me to do other things, but I want to win that show for myself. Like, man, I tried so fucking hard the past 2 times. So
You're
it's like
close. You're like right there.
I know,
You
and
know,
it's
some people don't understand that, right? Like if you have this particular title that you want to win, most people are like, why don't you can just qualify, just go somewhere else. I don't think they understand like when some people do this sport out of like it's personal. It's like a passion thing, right? I mean, I feel like it should be everybody's passion, and if you're fixated on a specific title, it means something to you, and that's all that matters. Like you're not trying to find the quickest shortcut or fat. Well, there's no shortcut, but the quickest way to the Olympia. You have your game plan, and you're not gonna veer off that game plan regardless of what anybody else wants you to do, right?
mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, I've
So
already been to the Olympia, and realistically, like the Olympia is just another show to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's just
That's
it's like the top is obviously the capped show, but realistically it's just another show. And I mean, seeing myself with like the girls from the Texas Pro this past showing in 2024, like I'm gonna be fine once I get to the Olympia. If I can't win the Texas Pro, then I can't even win the Olympia yet. So
I know what you mean. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like if you're not in the sport for the right reasons, that wouldn't make any sense to you. You're like, what? I don't get it. Who cares? It's like it's not about who cares. You care. That's all that matters, right? You
and
know.
it's a lot of money at stake too. I could bounce around show to show, 2 grand here, 2 grand here. I would have to do so many 7 shows just to get that one check from Texas Pro. You know.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. At the amateur ranks, when I was in New York, I had to do Atlantic States or Easterns, and people are like, how come you don't do this or that? And I'm like, it's irrelevant. I don't really care. But you would have won it, okay? It's that's not. It's not to look for. I don't know. I feel like if you're a competitor, you have certain shows in your head sometimes, and you just got to do it. You know, even like national shows. Yeah, once you're pro, people don't really care how you turn pro for the most part, but you care. You know, I've only done USA's, and sometimes people, how come you don't do the amateur O or the North Americans? And I'm like, at this moment in time, I just don't. I have no desire to do the show. I don't know. I like the USA. What you want me to do? You know, so it's not a race to a card or a race to a qualification. It's deeper than that for us. I think we just have our game plan that we want to stick to for whatever reason. You know.
Well, the Texas Pro is kind of like the New York Pro for males, right?
Exactly.
Now the new the Pittsburgh Pro now as well, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
for
Well,
female physique or the physique division, it's the Texas Pro.
yeah,
Exactly, because that's the I don't know what the Olympia prize check is for first, but
I think it's changing this year a little bit. It's going to go up. I think I've heard, but who knows?
yeah.
that would be nice. But I want to say the last I knew it to be was 20 grand, and the Texas Pro was 15. Is 15, and I got there's a bonus best poser an extra grand. So it's the closest show prize money wise to the Olympia. And
Yeah,
it's the closest show to where I live. So it just makes the most sense to me.
yeah,
But I just got redemption with that show. I gotta win it.
yeah. It's personal, you know. Well,
Yeah.
also on top of that, you're not planning to just show up to the Olympia, right? You know for sure you're a top 5 girl there, and the goal is to be higher, as well, right? I'm sure. So if a top 5 girl shows up, or even a top 3 girl at the Texas, well, you want to beat them. So you go, when you go to Olympia, you know you're right there. You already know you're right there, but it also proves to yourself and everybody else that this is, that's the caliber of competition. So it makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect. That's like to me when when guys can't win the overall at a local show, but they go to nationals, and they kind of like, maybe you should win maybe you should win overall first.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't have to per se, because some people don't and they still win nationals. But just in general, that would be like a good way to gauge it. If you have high plans for the next level, why not gauge it that way?
Yeah,
I know
listen,
the. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know the New York pros, the top New York guys back in the day, like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. The New York pro was the Olympia, right? Like John De La Rosa, Victor, Juan Morel. Who else is out there? Guy Nino in the 212. So all the East Coast guys, the New York pro was that test, and until they did that, they didn't really care to go anywhere else. It makes sense to me.
The year Sergio won it, that was cool. But yes, I like the New York Pro because it was seemed as like the third under the Olympia and the Arnold, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just doesn't seem that way no more.
I feel like there's so many other shows raising prize money and getting like really good competition. I think it's so competitive in general now. It's hard to just say this show is a higher tier, where the other show, like, you could say, well, Pittsburgh is going to be just as competitive, or Detroit is going to be just as competitive, or Dubai. So I think there's so much competition now. It's hard to just say, Olympia, Arnold, So
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
you have Prague turn out to be one of the biggest shows of the year, and it's just Prague, right? But I feel like the league is super competitive right now.
for sure.
Alyssa, what improvements were you trying to make from last year to this year? Is it a size thing for you? Is it, just touching up a couple different muscle parts, or?
I definitely think I need more size, so that's why I like focused on bulking up a little bit more. But I know it's going to be down to conditioning. Last year, like my back, I don't have much muscle on my back because I'm arm dominant. So my back is thicker skinned. It gets lean and I had some veins in it this last prep and I get straight in lower back and everything. But on stage, when I pose it, there's not a lot of detail going on. So right now, I'm just trying to get the body fat off and then get as lean as possible from the backside because everything else will be fine. But besides the back, getting leaner, denser abs. I'm trying to get my abs to pop more. And then overall, besides that, just some more delts. I would say some more delts, leaner back, abs pop more, and maybe more quad sweep, if anything.
Never gonna have too much back, right?
Yeah, but my back sucks, dude. Like it sucks. Like because I was so arm dominant growing up, and then once I realized my back sucks, I put a lot of work into it. But then it's like I got it bigger, but I can't get it leaner, and then it's a give and take.
It's
But
also
at the end of the day,
yeah.
what's up?
It's also kind of a time game. That thin skin just happens from years and years and years. It just gets the leaner and leaner and leaner you get, the leaner it stays.
For sure, and it comes down to training for me because growing up, I was just like grip it and rip it, and that's where the arm dominant. So I never focus on contracting, stretching, and all that. I went down to MI 40 1 year and got Ben Pack to just teach me how to train back because I want to learn what to do. But when I came over here to Texas, it's really put emphasis into it, and I train back every day, every morning, just pull downs and just I know that I need to squeeze it. It's like basically the same concept as your glutes. When you're trying to get your glutes striated for the stage, it's going to be the same concept for my back. I'm just going to have to increase frequency and squeeze it more just to get, and a lot of people are doing this type of stuff in front. I do everything back. Like when I do pull downs, I pull behind my head. When I do anything, and I had a dude down in McAllen. He taught me something just to pull like real close. It's against what everyone's saying on Instagram nowadays, but to get the traps more detailed. So I'm trying to get more detailed throughout just that upper mid back overall.
It's funny you say that. Compton told me that as well. He said he used to focus on the actual contraction, like getting your elbows past your hips. That's something that people don't do. Most people focus on the stretch, which isn't wrong necessarily, but because I was talking about
Technical. They get too technical because they're like you have to go hip to injure this. It's sometimes it's actually like about we kind of all of us at least have the muscle built already, and now we got to like unwrap it and wrap it around your spine and just contract it as much as you can. And it can get dirty, you know, you can crank it, but as long as you're squeezing it. So I have a mix of heavy and lighter stuff that I do so I can focus on that.
Well, that's the issue when it comes to studies, because studies are never done on us. They're done on regular people. You know, a regular person's movement patterns and development is completely different. You know, so if you're at some college and you have fucking shit hooked up to somebody and it's an average Joe doing rows, they're gonna move completely different from us, and they don't have necessarily strong and weak areas because these are probably people who don't even work out, you know, or not to our extent at least, right? Same for like back in the day they used to say, oh well, there was a study done and you can't digest more than 30 grams of protein per meal, and it's like you can't, motherfucker. But you're not us. You don't do what the fuck we do. So science is literally the last 70 years of bodybuilding. That's science for us, right? Everything that we've learned has been passed on since the beginning of bodybuilding. That's our own science because it's trial and error for our body types. Everybody's a little bit different.
You know, very individually dependent too, right? Like
exactly.
You got sloppy lifters that are massive and they can get full contraction out of it. You got to have some guys that are super strict in order to actually activate that muscle. So you got to find your own. It sounds like you're doing a little mix of both, right? And you just got to find that sweet spot for you to where you're actually feeling the muscle. You know, it can look great, you know, keeping it nice and tight, but if you're not feeling it, you're not growing it. You know, you got to feel the movement.
As simple as that.
Exactly. And two things that I do for anyone that's listening, because I forget we're on a podcast. If you have a weak back, one, don't wear straps, because once you're wearing straps, you're going too heavy. There's a time and place for straps, but try to avoid using straps because yes, you're gonna use your arm, but it's gonna force you to go like not heavy enough to where you can squeeze it. So sometimes I'll just go in and leave my straps in my car. That way I have to use my back and I'll force myself to go lighter. And people can call it a deload or whatever, but I'm just adjusting to what I can make my back feel. And then, you know, those little orange handles, the angle 90 grips from Gym Pin or whatever, those I put on everything. They changed the game for my back training.
The little 2-inch handle, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a little banana shape. Right. Yeah, that has helped me a lot because it puts you right into the position instead of if you're doing something fixed.
Yeah. But, so a lot of people, a lot of times think the opposite, right? They'll say you always want to use straps so that you're pulling through your elbows, not with your forearms. But I kind of agree with you. When I started, I remember hearing that. So I started using straps from day one. Imagine day one in the gym, I was using straps. So my grip was so weak that even with the straps on, my forearms and biceps would overexhaust. So I was, if that makes sense. So my grip was so weak that even with the straps, my forearms were giving out, which is not good. You don't want your grip that weak, but that's what happens if you never built it to begin with. So I completely stopped using it, and I built my grip strength back up. But what happened is that, like you said, I can't go as heavy. So what happens is I'm actually using my fucking back, right? So it sounds strange. You'd be like, but wouldn't you use more forearm? But it's you control your body. Your body doesn't control you, right? So you can always use your back straps or not. It's just you have to think about it. You have to focus on it. You have to be deliberate with it. You can't just yank it up. So with the straps, the theory sounds good, but if you're just yanking it up anyways with the straps, then it's irrelevant. You're just moving heavier weight with just a shitty form, you know?
Yeah.
So now if maybe you have huge fucking forearms and biceps and no back and you use perfect form, then
arm dominant my whole life, you know.
so like Rafe said, it's very individual. So if that's the case, then straps may benefit you. For me, straps didn't really benefit me. I was just pulling heavier weight. I think because me and Alyssa probably used to train similar. It was so grip and rip that even with the straps, I'm just pulling more weight with shittier form. So it didn't do anything for my back.
I started lifting when I was 12, and I never used straps until I was like 20, probably 21. Mm-hmm. So, because I wanted to build the whole body, right? And so your forearm gets strong, your arms get strong, your delts get strong, everything gets strong. And then you get to a point where it's like, okay, now I'm not feeling it in my back anymore because I'm overpowering with every other muscle part. That's when you add them in, right? And even right now, I'll warm up until my top sets before I even put the straps on. Yes. And then it's like it's a released grip, so it's strapped in, but I'm not grabbing to hell, right? I'm pulling with the actual back, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to utilize them correctly as well.
You got to build. Yeah, you do have to build the base. So there's in like the training world, there's like a debate. Some people feel like you should start with basic compound movements. I think probably most competitors probably believe, think that way. So do I actually. But there's another camp that thinks that these movements are too technical for a beginner, so they should actually start with machines. I can see both sides because I've done both. It depends where your experience level is at. I grew up playing football, so I was already lifting before I got into bodybuilding. So I didn't feel in danger from squatting and deadlifting and shit like that and benching, right? Now, I've had clients who are so horrible at like movements that it was impossible. They could not learn how to squat the first month in the gym. I tried. And they couldn't. They have no body control. I'm like, holy fuck, they're gonna hurt themselves badly if I try to do this. So I had to start them on a hack squat or a Smith squat or like what do you call the box squat, something like that. Box squats usually fix their squat form, and then we worked up to free weights. So, and then now we kind of have more of a, I have one client in particular. She's really tall as well. She's like 6'2". So you can see with the limbs, it was really hard for her. So we had to start with machines, then work our weights to free weights, get really strong with free weights. Now we're back to like a mixed hybrid, right? So it's person dependent. Most people, I think, would if you have any decent level of control on your body, whether you play sports or whether you dabbled a little bit, you should definitely build the base right out the gate, I believe. But if you're just like somebody who has never even left the floor, or somebody who's never moved or did anything athletic, maybe you have to just build some, feel some resistance on your body before even, I don't know if you guys agree with that to a point.
Yeah, I think there's, you got a lot of the influencers today, and it's all about machines and like this super strict crap, and it's very important. But at the same time, at some point in time, you just got to lift some heavy ass weight.
Exactly.
When you're a brand new beginner, though, I always tell all my clients, front load your training. If you're so fresh in the gym, get a trainer to walk you through the movements so you're doing it correctly from day one instead of incorrectly for months and then get discouraged or hurt or not doing it correctly, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You gotta know who you're working with. Some people might not even have any experience working out, but they're naturals. You teach them something, wow, you got it right away. Now the issue is if it's like a movement pattern that they can't seem to figure out, you don't want to waste so much time. Okay, put it like this. So let's say the same client I'm talking about, Vicky. I felt like she would literally. I didn't feel like she was safe doing those movements, right? Like she could hurt herself, or if you have like a older client or something like that, right? It's somebody who this could be dangerous with, that those are the people I focus more on form with, Now, if you're not strong enough to get injured or your form is decent enough, I won't emphasize like perfect form. I always say I have a baseline. I believe in good form, not perfect form. So if your form is like a 7.5 ish, I might not say anything because your intensity is there, you know. But if it starts to get to like a 5, then I'm like, okay, this motherfucker, you're gonna get hurt. We got to fix that up. So I don't stress perfect form unless I feel like you need it, you know. And if I feel like your form is gonna take time to the point that I'm trying to make little changes, but you're not getting it. So it's throwing off your focus to the point that you can't even have any intensity because you're so locked in on being so precise that there's no intensity there. That's what I don't want. So this same client, Vicky is her name. She's very tall and lanky. So every time I would give her cues, too many cues, she would just it still wouldn't look good, but she would be so hyper focused. I'm like, we're not getting anything. This is not training. We're gonna just go months of me trying to fix your form. So I was like, you know what? Go ahead. I'll let you know if it gets really out of control. Right now it's like a 7.5. Fuck it, let's go. And years after, she got more comfortable. Now I can get her form to like 8 or 8.5, and I'm cool with that. I don't try to reach 10. I don't need to have you doing slow motion reps. You know, if that's just how you form. I've had clients who that's just how they move, and I let them do that. I'm not going to tell you to use worse form. If that's what's comfortable for you, keep doing 10 out of 10 form. You know, as long as the intensity is there, that's all I'm concerned about personally. You know?
Have you trained at the MI40 gym?
No, I haven't.
It's
It's a full
crazy
gym.
because I've been down there a couple times and like just to like get some training in, and the strictness is insane. Like,
Yeah.
but it's intense. It's crazy. It's different
Okay.
down there.
As long
But
as it's intense.
I can't do that all the time though because I like to grip it and rip it.
Yeah. Well, you remember? Huh?
Well, you're talking about, your 7.5 or 8, it's individually dependent. The way I activate my muscles looks different than someone that's a different shape than me. So it's correct for us. And I think some people get caught up on like, it has to look, a deadlift has to look specifically like this. Well, I have a tall torso and short legs. It looks totally different than someone with, a third of a torso and 2/3 legs, right? I'm the reverse of that. So the lift looks completely different, but they're both correct, right? So
100%. When I used to do heavy back squats, I would have the bar on my neck. I would put it as high as possible because I was trying to stay straight up. But my body doesn't move that way. So my ass would always shoot out, which made me extremely strong on squats. But if I'm not going to grow my quads if I'm using glutes and hams, right?
Right.
So my hams got a lot better. My glutes got a lot better, but my quads didn't really get better. But it looked cool as fuck posting them videos, But at the end of the day, we trying to win shows here. So I had to change it up. Whereas some people, I used to watch Kai Green do back squats. He would stay like this, boom, perfectly down, all quads. And I'm like, well, that's a great movement for Kai. Obviously, look at fucking quads, but not for all of us, man. And you have to be okay with that. We don't try to be like Kai. Don't try to be like Ronnie. Don't try to be like Phil. You're not motherfucking Ronnie. So don't try to be like Ronnie.
I think Branch says it the best. What does he say? It ain't a form show. It's all about how you look when you're on stage. It don't matter how you get there.
Exactly. So it's not powerlifting. It's not even powerlifting. They have different form, but you're not being judged on your form. You're being judged by your physique. So whatever you need to do to bring that physique, doesn't matter what the fuck the world thinks. Everybody talks shit about Phil Heath's form. I'm like, this motherfucker has been beating everybody, winning Olympias, and y'all worried about his form.
Isn't it
Worried
funny?
about your fuck.
Isn't it funny? The same dudes, the top guys. You got even Samson right now, Ronnie, Phil, Branch, some of the top guys in the world. Their form isn't like perfect form at all, right? I mean, they lift some heavy ass weight though, right? And they get it done.
Yeah, it works for them.
Yeah,
it works for them. So I mean, would they be better or worse if they change? Nobody can say that for sure, but I don't think it fucking matters. I mean, if you're winning, if you're winning, you're winning, motherfucker. Whether you win by 1 point or perfect score, you're still winning. So I don't think you should correct somebody's form has no issue growing that body part.
Right.
Now, if the body part isn't growing, then the conversation opens itself. But you can't tell Branch he's training chest wrong. Even if it looks wrong for us, But that chest is not a wrong chest.
If I lifted like Branch, I'd be broken in like 12 seconds.
Okay, that's also something we have to understand. When Martin used to train with him, he was like mentally he loved it and he could survive it, but physically it just wasn't conducive to him being a better bodybuilder. Right. And it takes maturity to say that, because we would all love to train with Branch, but the truth is that, you know what, nowadays that probably wouldn't be in my best interest.
And some of that style of training too can potentially flatten you out, depending on your environment. If you're in the, hot gym midsummer, I just feel like certain training styles can develop a certain look too. So if you're going too hard, because sometimes I go too hard and I do like junk volume, I just get flat. I don't get a pump. I'm just flat. I'm like, what the fuck did I do all that for? Felt like I went hard, but I just got flat.
Sometimes I used to think about that when, like, let's say Juan Morel would be like, yo, I flatten out so easy, man. It's crazy metabolism. I agree. But, boy, you're doing 2-a-days with 40 working sets. What do you expect? Yeah, you're going to flatten out, right? So,
a lot of these guys, that's how they train since they were 12 years old, though. Yeah, so their tendons and their ligaments, everything's built for that,
100%.
If I jump into a different style like that, it ain't going to happen,
Well, you wouldn't be able to cover it. Not your muscles, not your tendons. Hey, what are you doing?
Central nervous system would be smoked.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to cover it. But have you guys noticed, Alessia, I think you're my age, right?
31.
Okay, yeah. I'm 32 now. You've noticed that, or have you noticed that you can't handle as much of a beating on your body via training, whether it's the amount of weight or the volume or the consecutive training days? Have you noticed any difference?
Off cycle, hella big difference, obviously. But when I'm on, it's almost like when I prep, when I'm going into a show, it's like my peak performance level as well. I don't go downwards. So at the tail end of a prep, I'm like, I can do anything, but I train solo, so nobody sees what I really do to myself. But I can go balls to the wall, like volume, weight, all of that.
I think there's a big difference, Beatty, between female and males, because I coach a lot of females, and females have Melissa, same way. She'll be 3 weeks out pulling deadlifts, single reps, 500-pound deadlifts, out from a show. Like, you imagine one of us trying to pull a 1-rep max 3 weeks out from a show? It's just not going to happen.
See, I do that.
Yeah, females are a little bit different, man. You guys were made to reproduce, so you can, and you're a little bit smaller in size, so you can handle more volume. So there's a little bit other things that are going on there.
When at one point I had quite a handful of bikini clients. I still have a couple, and I did notice that their performance, if anything, does pick up. And if I was to scale it to our size, right? Like, I saw Alyssa doing, was it 120 dumbbells? if you scale that to me, that would be like 250-pound dumbbells or more.
Right.
So sometimes I sit there, I'm like, well, this girl is about what, 130, 140 pounds. She's doing 225 for sets of 20, superset with lunges. I'm like, Imagine if I did fucking 5-6 plates for sets of 20, superset with lunges. It would be impossible, especially while you're that lean, And sometimes I see some of the bikini girls and they're like laughing and shooting content and eating celery and dancing and shit. I'm like, 2 weeks out, dancing? I'm like, that's the last thing I'm thinking about is fucking dancing at 2 weeks out. And I'm
can't even walk from the car to the gym at 2 weeks out.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think that's a whole different level of muscle building. Like, they don't have muscle. They're not bodybuilders, in my opinion.
Good point.
Like,
good point.
When you're building muscle and trying to condition the muscle, and not even like respectfully to the wellness competitors, like figure, women's physique, bodybuilding, and like open.
Different.
It's different. It's just different when you're trying to build something. Like, realistically, bikini girls are just cardio.
Yeah.
They're not training. They're not trying to fucking rack pull their max at 2 weeks out. But like, it's just a different style, but different look, different style, different feeling at the end. dancing and laughing type shit,
Me and Compton, we talked about Michaela Aycock on one of the podcasts, and he trained her with her before, and he was like, he heard stories about her, so he was like, he knew she could keep up with the pace and the intensity. He said this girl came in and she kept up with his weight, prime Compton, and he was like, pace and intensity one thing. How the fuck are you doing the same weight as me? And he was like, he was mind blown. And she's tiny, I mean, she's
my size. She's the same size as me.
That's insane. That's insane.
Have
That's like me go. Huh?
You seen her Instagram on her? She always posts leg videos. Her hack squats, tempoed hack squats with 5 plates on that Cybex hack for a chick that's that big. It's gorgeous. It's awesome, man.
It looks painful as fuck, but her legs like tripled in size, like from years ago to now, because her legs, it wasn't a strong point because she doesn't have crazy sweeps, but she built her legs so big. The adductor and the teardrop is like if your muscle doesn't have a flattering shape, or your body doesn't have a flattering shape, just get so fucking muscular and shredded that nobody gives a fuck anymore.
Right.
It's like, we don't give a fuck. You still you fucking win. And that's what she did. She just continued. I don't know if you guys believe that if you have like, what's a leg with let's say Nick Walker, right? His sweeps start really low, right? Versus like a Stu where it sweeps off the hip.
Yeah, right off the hip.
Do you believe like Nick could turn his feet inside or outside and all of a sudden change his sweep? Well, okay. Well, he can grow his sweep, but he can't change his like insertion. I'm sorry, it's a different. But
the insertion starts, that much lower in the hip. Mine's kind of like that too. My insertion doesn't go way high; it's down from the hip a lot. So it's a little bit harder, right, to get that size. Your whole leg has to be bigger this way.
But how about just wherever his sweep starts? Do you think he can build his sweep directly, even though it's shorter, without growing his adductors at the same time?
Possible.
The percentage is, I think anything's possible. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
I'm kind of in that predicament because I have big adductors, but my sweeps don't really pop off the bone or whatever you want to call it. So like I'm avoiding going full range of motion. I'm just going to like right at 90 degrees and then back up, and I keep my knees rotated in. And I mean, I'm just trying to isolate that outside without involving the glutes or the adductors.
Yeah.
So there's things you could do.
For sure. I think you can to a smaller percentage, depending on how big of a discrepancy there is. Because let's say I do a specific workout, right? My leg at one point was all sweep, and I had no adductors and no teardrop. And let's say I do an entire workout that I'm trying to focus on teardrop and adductors, and the next day I'm sore only in my teardrop and adductors. I feel like that has to say something, right? I feel like that means that But now that
well, the whole leg being bigger, you can pose a little bit different to give you a little bit more quad sweep, right? So
for sure,
if you're touching thighs this far underneath your crotch and you still have a wide stance, you still got massive sweeps, more leg, maybe you don't need to, right? So
yeah.
I mean, we're all gifted our genetics, right? We don't get to choose that, right? So we just got to work with what we got.
I believe you can do it, but just not okay. Like my adductors have grown a lot, but I don't have fucking Tom Platz adductors, and I'll never have that. Right? Same way my calves have grown a lot, but they're so short that nobody notices my fucking calves is growing. Nobody like, baby, I see them calves, boy. Like nobody like that. It's never gonna happen, but that's okay. It doesn't mean you shouldn't grow them, because now if they didn't grow in the last 5 years, that would be pretty disgusting to look at. You know what I'm saying? So you still have to do it. And I could argue that if you look at Nick as an amateur versus now, his sweeps did grow.
Oh yeah.
But to Rafe's point, his entire leg did grow as well. I do think his sweeps grew a little more than the rest of his leg, though, but very marginal. You know. Now there's other ways to enhance it, you know, but you got to make sure the shit look good. You know, you don't want
Right.
the legs. I think it's pretty obvious when you pin the legs up. It doesn't have the best look. You
You know,
know.
you have to be pretty calculated about it, I think, because I've seen some pretty botched jobs out there.
Yeah. Well, the reason why we don't see good jobs is because you can't tell when it's a good job, baby.
There you go.
Yeah, you know. So, but I've heard things, but you know, people talk so much. You don't know what's true or not. Be like, really? He did that? Who told you that?
Unless you're hearing it from him, you don't know, right?
Exactly. No, because my cousin's girlfriend, that's his ex's coach, bro. I'm like, really? So that's it's like you don't really know, but then you start looking closer, you're like, oh, maybe there's some truth to this. Hey, if you can't tell, body, I think anything's on the table. If it looks good, we ain't saying nothing about it. But you good, you know. So, shit. When I found that Kevin Levrone had Naruto all up in there, I'm like, damn, bro, Marilyn, not the Marilyn Muscle Machine, but then I'm like, hey, maybe he onto something here. Maybe he onto something. You know.
That dude's a genetic freak. He go from 180 to 265 on stage in 6 months. Give me a break.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that Rich Piana said it. He said he heard Flex Willis protocol before from a friend because he lives in LA. He was like, oh, that's what Flex did. So he went and got all the ingredients and he loaded up and he was like, I didn't look like Flex Will out there. That's for sure. So you have to remember that this is the best of the best genetically, anyways. And if you enhance the best, it just looks insane.
Right.
You know, if you're a 5 out of 10 and you try the same protocol, it's gonna be minimal effects. You know. So, I've actually tried all of that shit, but I'm so scared to look weird that I always give it so much space. I'll do it like 3 days before, but then by the time I step on stage, it's gone. So it's kind of a waste. But I'm like, I can't do it the night before, bro. That's risky as fuck, bro. Step on in, and you got some shit come. I don't want to do that to myself. So, you know, at one point, I got to try it. I got to do it like a random local show and try it just to see how it looks. Because trying it a couple weeks out, it's not the same until you see it on the stage lights. You don't know what it's going to look like. So I'm not willing to take that risk, you know. So
Well, I've heard it's pretty painful too. I haven't used anything like that, but heard it's pretty painful, huh?
well, the actual Nalatil or Essiclean, if you pin enough, you get like drunk. You get like I don't know what to call it besides drunk. You feel like you're drunk. Like you get like a high, mellow, like wanting to go to sleep feeling. So that's risky if you're doing it. Some people do it the morning of the show. You know, I tried it. I think that was 2020. I did like shoulders. I did some lat, and then literally after I was done, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I just passed out. I don't remember when I passed out. I passed out. I'm like, "Holy fuck!"
Body's probably like, what the hell's all this foreign shit in me?
Yeah. Somebody warned me, but you know how bodybuilders are. They're very they're not they won't tell you how bad it was. They're like, yeah, you might get a little bit tired, and then you're like, I didn't expect that. I fucking passed out, bro. I'm lucky I woke up in time for prejudging. You know? You know, so yeah, you gotta be careful. But you probably if you have a really weak body part, you're not gonna fix it with pinning it. I'm sorry. You know,
So if I don't if I start pinning my lats, my back won't get bigger.
it might appear bigger if you have the right swelling in the right place. You know.
Oh, I don't want swelling. Fuck that.
Hard work works best.
Yeah.
Some people think the body part atrophies though long term if it doesn't get enough blood. I mean that makes sense. If a body part doesn't get blood flow, will it shrink? Will it?
So, Alyssa, you do a lot of deep tissue, a lot of body work.
Can't say I do. I go to the mall and have the Asian people rub my back sometimes, but there's nobody here locally that does good body work. So
I got a gal that I've been working with. She comes to my house 2 hours every week, and she deep tissues my legs. And that's how I've got so much size in my legs in the past year, as well as working. And it's miserable. But if, what I've found is, and Jay Cutler was always big on this, and I was always a huge fan as a young kid, just the deep muscle work. I don't think anything gets blood flow to an area better than that, just working that muscle. So if you have a spot that you're trying to grow, I would suggest doing that. I've religiously been doing it 2 hours a week for 2.5 years on top of my training. It's probably the hardest day of the week. You train hard, you recover harder, right? And I've seen more results from it, less injuries, able to push it a little bit more, a lot more blood.
I totally agree with you. I just don't have someone to go to like that knows the like sports style that we are doing, that we're needing.
Yeah.
But the only people
it took probably like 3 months for her to start realizing that I ain't just a regular Joe here. And so she uses all the tools, scraping, cupping, we don't do any needling. I don't respond well to that, but really deep tissue stuff. And man, she's awesome now. She knows my body real well. I know my body well, and we just go after it. So it really works. I really am a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I need it because I took my pictures today post workout, and my right lat is kind of locked up. Yeah. Like I've always, this lat looks different than this lat. My back is just all fucked up, and my neck is sore and from sleeping, so it's just all crooked. I was like, damn, that looks like shit.
Yeah, the bigger you get, it's all about you wake up in the morning like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah, like every morning, my neck is killing me. It's just, but it's almost like as my back has gotten bigger, I have more back pains. Like, I don't know, neck pains, back pains. I'm like, damn, this shit sucks trying to grow back.
Yeah.
Growing pains.
Literally.
Yeah. When it comes to lower body, man, that shit is so miserable. Ooh. So miserable.
There's nothing worse than a calf massage, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah.
My pain tolerance, well, I wouldn't even say that. I'm good at acting like it doesn't hurt. I can't even say my pain tolerance is high. It's just because it feels like shit. But usually they'll be like, "Wow, you're taking it. This is pretty well. You're handling it." I'm like, "No, it hurts." But one time, at the time, the physio, what do you call it? Therapist. Yeah. She felt something in my T-band. She's like, "Whoa, what's that?" And then she digged in. I'm like, "Can you lessen she like, it's at 1%. And I'm like, no way. And she went like this, just touching it. It was like a sharp pain shot. I'm like, whoa, please. So after like 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to have to come back. I feel like throwing up. I'm like I'm getting nauseous from the amount of pain. Imagine pain being so much, you have a headache and you're physically about to, I'm like, I'm going to throw up. I'm literally going to throw up. We got to come back. And then, so she would do a little bit until she was able to get deep enough and break it down. She was like, don't let that happen again because that's going to be difficult to get out. And of course, I haven't been to her for like a year. So,
as I've gotten older, bigger, stronger, you just got to add all these things in, You have to add a little bit more recovery and you got to add.
It does make your training, it makes training, especially during the prep, feel refreshed too. I know that.
Man, I literally texted her right after the show. I'm like, I couldn't have done this without you. No joke. Like I'd be broken mess. I'd look like this on stage because I'd be so locked up in one side. So yeah, I'm a huge fan.
I'm so cheap that
it's expensive, but that's the thing,
But what's even more expensive? Eating all this food, training so fucking hard, and taking all these drugs and not being able to grow your back because the shit is locked up. That's even more expensive. And that's kind of what I've been doing.
I'm about to hit my massage. I got to drive 2.5 hours though. I might have to do it tomorrow on my rest day.
I could never find a convenient. That's my excuse. I could never find a convenient location, price. I can't find a perfect thing. Like, this person is great, and it's a fair price, and it's close enough. So there's always some factor that allows me to have an excuse. Like, in traffic, oh my God, it's going to be 2 hours. So there's always an excuse, so.
But like, I literally have there's a bed right there. Someone doesn't even have to bring a bed. They could just pull up, but there's nobody here. It sucks.
Where are you living?
I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah.
Or south there.
Yeah.
Shit. You got the setup already. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's my roommate's tattoo setup, but it's like literally it's perfect for massaging. You could just keep your bed. All you have to do is bring yourself. Like I don't
Exactly.
know,
All right.
no one to do it, but
Hey, Rafe, what you got going on? You rebound phase, or do you?
Yeah,
Or you shut it down?
we're doing a little rebound here through the probably first week of January.
Okay.
So, this prep, I didn't really lose much strength in it. It was the best prep I've had. Maintained a lot of the strength into the show. The last week and a half, obviously, I kind of backed off just a little bit because you're fatigued as hell.
Yeah.
But man, I 2 day the very next day after the show, I was back in the gym hitting a pump workout that was a little bit more than a pump workout, and then I just kept pushing it. And this week I've turned it all the way on, and
Damn.
it's pretty damn good. I'm probably gonna deload after the rebound. I probably could
Yeah.
have deloaded already. I might take a rest day here or there, just take an extra day off and keep the food high and eat because I still got striated glutes, man. I'm still lean as shit. So
What was the lowest your food got in prep? Or I don't even know if you
yeah, we
count
did
calories.
4 meals that had a little bit of carbs. We never had the zero carb. I think those meals got as low as like 20 grams of carbs a meal, but that was only for like 3 days. And then I was doing a full refeed like every 3 days for the last 4 weeks. My metabolism turned into a fireball. It was awesome.
But like your regular low days, what was like your regular low day? Like how much carbs?
Like 25 to 30 grams for the first 4 meals. Still kept 30 grams of carbolin in during training. And then
Yeah.
we always cut carbs in half on off days,
Okay.
which is 2 days a week. But, my refeed days, they're high, man. They're like 40 pieces of sushi and a 12-ounce steak, plus all my other meals, plus high carbs. Like it's a lot of food.
So total carbs on a low day was like 20, 30
150,
grams.
150, I think, was the lowest I got. That's pretty
That
good for me, being this
relatively
size.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's relatively low compared, I guess, depending on who you ask, right?
Yeah, but
And
if I go any lower than that, I'm fucking brain dead, bro. I just can't even function.
okay.
So
And
I'd rather do more output so I can keep that food in.
how much output were you getting as far as cardio?
We were doing an hour until about 2 weeks out, and then I had to back all the way off of it. But it would be like 35 minutes in the morning, and it was stair mill, and then I'd do stair mill after training, 25 minutes. And then
And where?
until about 3 weeks out, then I started pulling that afternoon. They didn't need it. I mean, my metabolism was just going so
Right.
fast at that point in time.
And where are your carbs now during the rebound?
Oh, we just changed it. I haven't calculated it, but I think it's somewhere around probably like 420 right now. So we're starting to bring it 500, 450 probably right now. We're starting to bring it back up. But I don't have to eat a ton of carbs in the off season. My protein's high. I'm at a 550 protein always, and that stays in all.
Damn. Oh my
We
God.
took about 2 weeks after this show and we brought the protein down a little bit, maybe to like 400. But now it's back up because I'm fucking starving again. So
Oh, so you actually enjoy the 550 grams of protein?
I can sit here and eat a whole meal in like 15 minutes, and I eat 7 meals a day, have been for 3, 4 years now.
Oh no,
Yeah, it's a
that
lot.
sounds well. But to be fair, usually it sounds so bad to me, but my body also doesn't need that much food in general. So I guess it comes with the territory. Usually, people who need that much food, you're actually hungry for it as well, right? Okay.
I'm not like right now, I'm not having to force feed at all.
Okay.
And even in my off season at the highest, I might get tired of eating, but I don't feel like I'm force feeding because I get so regimented on my schedule. It's just like it's 2 hours, it's time to eat, shove it and go.
Yeah.
But it's a decent amount of food, once I get to the high push. But now that my weight's staying high competition on stage, we're trying to stay a little bit leaner, keep the skin because I'm a little bit older, so I'm trying to keep the skin a little bit thinner. So every time that I diet down, I'm just a little bit more shredded on stage because I want to be more conditioned when I do the debut here.
Shit. Yeah. We tried. Compton tried that with me. He tried to up my protein from like 300. My food is pretty low in general, and my protein usually doesn't go above 300. And he tried upping it to like 450, And post show I went from 250 to 280 within probably like a week.
Fat
It's
or
just
just
uh, I guess I can't call it muscle, but it didn't look bad, but it didn't look as good as I wanted it to look, or as we wanted it to look.
like
So
I only came up like 12, 15 pounds after the show, and I've stayed there. I haven't been really dicking around with the cheat meals and everything. I have 2 refeeds a week, which I go ham on. But other than that, I really haven't been messing around too much because I want to, the past off seasons, I'll put like 30 pounds on in the first 4 weeks,
yeah.
but
Shit.
with a lot of unnecessary weight.
My client did the same show as you, so he's the same. He's in his rebound as well, and I'm not able to up his food still. Just his baseline prep diet plus like a weekly cheat meal is putting him in enough surplus that he's up maybe 20 pounds already.
Wow.
But we had to really kill cardio and really starve him to get him in shape. So
But
it's just different, man.
and right now my cardio is only on upper body days, not on leg days, and not on off days. And it's only like a 30-minute low intensity just walk. It's nothing, it's nothing crazy. And I'm still staying really lean. So I'm in a good spot and I don't want to destroy it because I can destroy it with food real easy because I can eat, man. I can just keep eating and keep eating and just blow my gut out and just keep eating.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying not to do that.
Is there anything that you do to purposely stay leaner in off season, whether it's like
This,
uh-huh.
this year I will, and it's just called not cheating on my diet all the time. Like right before I know I'm going into prep, I'll have like a free meal for 2 weeks every day of the week.
Okay.
I know I'm going into prep. This year I probably won't do that. I'm staying within like right now we could probably diet in 5 weeks and be ready for a show.
Okay.
I think I want to stay about 12 weeks out. In the past, we did an 18-week prep, and all we really did was just increase cardio and cut the free meals. And so we started really easy. So I didn't feel any pain till about 5 weeks out. So it was pretty cool.
I've seen programs from coaches that their clients stay pretty lean in off season. So I was kind of, curious to see. And some people do like T3, T4. They'll do even
Off season.
Yeah, they'll do. I've even seen Clen. I've seen what's the there's others. There's a frag. What is it called? Frag. Like a bunch of peptides and so on that keep you lean. Semi-glutide. I've seen it all. So I'm like, oh,
is that Ozempic?
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, that's why you guys are staying so lean. But then I'm like, is that a good thing though?
I don't think so because in the off season you really want to just take everything down to the minimal basis of food, just a little bit of test support, and no orals if you can avoid it, and just train and sleep, man.
Yeah,
and some HGH.
I think that's where you put on the quality muscle that sticks.
I agree.
What'd you say?
She said
That's some HGH.
Oh, that always stays on.
We love HGH around here.
Well, now T4 I can understand.
Well, it depends on where your GH levels are at too, right?
Exactly.
You gotta need a little support from there.
But T3 is actually pretty common. A lot of coaches stack the T3 with the T4 off season. So I'm like, interesting.
I've coached enough clients, and I've been coached enough to realize, what blood work looks like if you do that too often, right?
Yeah.
And you really want to prime yourself before a show to be as fresh as possible, because as you get into that show, that's the hardest time on your body is those last 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of want to be giving and it's hard what we do anyway. Just eating 7 meals a day is causing inflammation. The way we lift is causing inflammation. Everything we do is causing so much inflammation in the body. So if we can reduce that in any way possible, I think that's the best thing we can do.
Try not to blow the off season before the off season starts. That helps a lot. That helps a lot.
I am a foodie though, so come Christmas, it's all over that day. But
I love food too. Hey, you guys heard about? Of course, you heard about it. But have you guys been keeping up with the Luigi Machiani, the guy who killed the healthcare CEO?
I didn't. I haven't even seen any of that. Man. I've been so slammed lately.
So this young man allegedly shot and killed the healthcare CEO. It's been all over. Oh, I guess I don't watch
I
TV
heard
either.
about it, but I haven't read into it. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole shit is super fishy, right? So somehow, well, apparently his grandma or something got denied, and she's sick. What the case is, and he has back issues. You know, the classic movie kind of setup. And then somehow he finds this guy's schedule, pulls up to his job. The guy, for some reason, doesn't have security this day. Pulls up and shoots him. Just just playing out with a hoodie on. Ah, bang, motherfucker, and bounces. Then they find him. He takes a picture at McDonald's and posts it on Twitter. Cops pull up to McDonald's. He has the fucking murder weapon on him, and he has a manifesto. Who the fuck writes a manifesto about
What
like
is
I guess
that?
the whole plan, like the whole plan and why he killed him and how he killed him. And I'm like, this just sounds like either like some kind of setup or a complete fucking fake story. Like it makes no sense whatsoever. It just sounds fishy. So nobody knows the truth, but even speculating, it's like we don't even know how to speculate because it sounds like a bad movie. Like somebody wrote a bad movie script, you know. So
Like, what is
uh,
he trying to get out of it?
vengeance, fucking revenge. The whole shit, like this, he's very young man.
Hmm.
Would he throw away his? It just sounds either like he was framed or the whole thing is fake. I mean, it just doesn't. It makes no sense whatsoever.
You
You
know,
know,
it's
it
one of
makes
those things where you know you hear it, you believe 50% of it, or you hear it, you believe none of it. If you see it, you believe 50% of it, right? Like
exactly.
I'm not going to believe anything, you know, unless it's happening to me.
Yeah,
So
the only thing that most people agree on is somebody's powerful wanted this man dead.
yeah,
Somebody wanted this man dead because
right.
he died, you know, and like you can't just say, I fucking hate Amazon and just find Jeff Bezos and just no security. Hey, Jeff, motherfucker, bah.
Right.
It's not that easy, you know.
Uh,
So he was either tipped off or set up or something. But and they keep posting every time they post his pictures instead of posting mugshots, they posting these shirtless pictures of him, and the girls are going fucking crazy, and the whole story is just weird. It sounds like a fake movie, you know. So
sounds like a
obviously,
distraction. Sounds like a distraction, and they're doing something else in the background. I mean,
exactly what it sounds like, you
It's a
know.
cover up.
yeah.
What I hope is that he's part of it and then he's not actually going to go to jail for life for some random shit. But who knows? Like we don't know much of anything that goes on. The good thing is that nowadays we're smart enough to understand that most of the shit we see and hear is not the truth.
You know,
Whereas,
I think that's where we've gotten in society, which is good. You know, I've always
right,
been a certain way, but I think society now is going, really,
yeah,
really,
I don't know about that. You know, like most of our parents grew up just believing everything that was on the news. Whoa, wow,
right,
this is
right.
crazy. And we're so long past that we don't believe anything. We're just like, okay, sure, you know, because
Which I think that's better because
way
at least
better.
we're not questioning and we're not going to just be like going with the flow, the masses, right?
Exactly. Don't be a follower because it's really easy to be controlled when you believe everything. You know. Now we don't believe shit, which is probably the smart thing because most of the shit we see is not true. You know.
No.
All right, let's get into a couple questions. I have a double header. I have another podcast coming soon. See if we got some good ones. All right. How's everybody doing? What the fuck?
You see
How's everybody's day going?
nationals this weekend.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's a 1 day show.
Uh, I don't think so. There's too many competitors. I don't know though. I've never competed at nationals at a.
It's gonna be hard to do. Yeah.
I
Do
mean, I think
you,
there's
do
like
you,
2,000 competitors between crossovers and everything. It's a ridiculous. I mean,
do you guys have your money on anybody for the overall?
I got my eye on a couple guys, but I forget their
What
name.
Sid.
Yeah, Sid had a good chance. He looked really good at his last show.
I think it also depends on the judges a little bit.
That's true.
Which look they're going for. Sid's an Arizona boy up here. He's right up the street here, in Phoenix for me. So I'm rooting for that. But he's got great shape. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
He looks really good.
John Effort is a huge fucking person, bro.
Monster.
And to be that filled out at 6'2" or whatever height he is at, you don't see that very often, especially definitely not at the amateur.
And he's more conditioned this time than I've ever seen him too. So he's
really good. Yeah,
he's pretty young, right? 26, 27.
Yeah, he's probably mid-20s. This is crazy. Maybe like 1 year younger than Stu. Yeah.
I got a light heavy. There's a couple light heavyweight guys that are competing that are pretty crazy.
Yeah, they are.
Well, he just turned 40 today, actually. Chris Pantano, he's a gas athlete. He's doing it. I think he did the same show Effort did, and he won the light heavyweight class, the one that Effort won the overall. So,
what's his Instagram?
Chris Pantano squats.
Oh, Ben.
He looks good.
He's more conditioned than he's ever been. Like, this is the best.
Yes, I've seen his pictures on Facebook.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't. How do you spell the last name? B-A-N?
No, Chris Pantano.
Oh, P-N. Okay. Oh, boom. Got it. Okay. Let me share the screen.
Trying to find it.
I got it pulled.
Then there's another light heavyweight that's pretty ridiculous too. You should pull up.
The one with the crazy shape or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. He shredded with crazy shape, right?
Julian Sanchez.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, but Chris is looking dialed.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Jordan Vanderfire is doing it. He looks good too.
Is he a super heavy or a heavy?
I want to say super. He's a big boy.
You said Vander?
That is that third one.
Right there.
The first one.
Yep.
Okay.
And he came close last year.
Oh, I know him. He's a super? What is he? Yeah, because he's tall.
He just missed last year, I think.
Yes.
He's probably gonna get it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks good.
Because top 2 gets it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could see him in Effort getting it in the supers.
Right. Yeah, I think it's also his time too. He's been at it for a bit. He's been up there, so.
You know how old he is?
He's like 33.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really have much weaknesses. Yeah. All right. Shout out Jordan Flyer.
He's the one that got me my muffins when I ran out at my show.
Fire.
He's the MVP.
All right, let's get some questions.
Pull up Julian Sanchez, man. Just in the past time for like 2 weeks, he is way more in condition. It's pretty credible.
And he's like what, a heavy?
I think he's a light heavy, but
he looks good. He looks good.
He got some good shape.
Julian R. Sanchez, right?
Yeah. I competed with him at the USA's a couple years ago. But he's
a light heavy?
I believe so.
He's peeled. Holy shit.
Yeah, and he's got pretty incredible shape. So
yeah, good muscle. Good muscle.
But I see the picture of the guy. That's some good physique, to say the least.
Yeah, that waist just seals the deal,
Yeah,
it's pretty. It's just a pretty physique.
Yeah, very aesthetic shape.
Yeah. A lot of pretty physiques have a hard time getting in shape. So, but he doesn't seem to have any issue getting in shape. Right?
It looks like he's grown into this prep. Like he keeps growing as he gets leaner too. So
yeah. We give him a follow.
I feel like getting in shape isn't the hard part for bodybuilding.
Well, for you,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think statistically, it's harder to put muscle on than it is to lose fat.
Oh yeah,
I know, but if you know you're going to
frame.
compete in, let's say, 12, 16, 18 weeks, how do you not get in shape?
Well, the only issue is if you don't have a
Yep.
if you don't have a good metabolism, you start to battle yourself because for me to get in shape, my food has to be so low. But
Okay.
at some point, my performance goes to complete shit. Right. Once I get down to 1,500 calories, my performance is shit. So now I have to make a choice that okay, how much muscle am I willing to lose to get in shape? That's where it gets tricky. But no matter how difficult it is, you can get in shape. It's just finding the best look, right? So like, just because it's low, I don't have a big appetite anyway. So it's not like, oh my god, I can't eat. You know, I can't starve. I'm gonna die. No, I have no problem eating 1,500 calories. It's just that at what point do I say, oh fuck, now this is not a good trade off because
Yeah,
my
I think
performance.
I think you're a little different than the masses, though. The
No, for sure.
masses
Yeah,
are more
you're
like
right. You're right.
I coach a lot of clients, and it's like the last 8 weeks you must have been. And then I hear about it later. They're eating trail mix in the middle of freaking
No, for
national.
sure. Yeah,
What the hell,
yeah,
guys?
man. But if you step on stage knowing that you didn't give your best foot
Right?
forward, man, come on, man.
I
You
know.
know
And Beatty, you said when you go 1,500 calories, how often are you being refed, whatever the word is?
that's what changes. When I coach myself, I was doing every 7 days, but a huge fucking like crazy, like for what crazy for me, like 800 to 1,000 carbs basically. With Compton, he would give them more often, maybe every for the most of a prep every 3 4 days, but the refeed would be really light, just maybe 90 to 100 more carbs, you know, something like that.
So
So
this is where the higher protein kind of helps out for a guy like you, maybe as you get a little deeper in and you got to drop the carbs down, bring that protein up so you have 2,000 calories, so you
Yeah.
feel better. You know what I
we
mean?
tried that, and then
Did you?
I don't lose weight.
Yeah,
Sometimes I gain weight. So
yeah.
when my protein stays high, so my protein, as counterintuitive as it sounds, it has to almost go down
Wow.
because he doesn't believe in bringing my cardio over 2 hours. I've tried it. I've done 3 hours, and I can't say it's a better look. You reach a point where the return isn't good. So
For
that's the
sure.
tricky part.
For
He
sure.
believes if I just have more and more muscle, things would get better, and I think I agree. You know,
Well,
I
I've
agree
proven that
too.
to myself. I mean, every show I've gotten bigger, I can eat a little bit more and I'm leaner.
yeah,
So, they work together as long as you're staying on it,
100%.
For sure.
Because for the USA's prep, Joe lost muscle. But guess what? He still won the fucking show because he had so much muscle to begin with that even when he lost muscle, he was still the most dense guy.
That
So
dude just
more,
looks at weights and grows.
yeah. Joe is a different thing. But it proves the point that more muscle will always make well. Okay, depends on your frame too, because Sean
Generally.
Clarita with more muscle and Nick Walker with more muscle. But those are, most people, more muscle will lead to a better result because you can push for more conditioning. You know what I'm saying? You can cover up some weak areas if you're just big enough.
You're lifting heavier because you're eating more, so you're burning more calories. Your metabolism's cranking a little hotter, right?
Exactly. So that's the game plan. Put on more muscle so that I don't get to a point where I have to decide, whoa, more conditioning or more. It's usually like, fuck it. If we lose 5 pounds of muscle, we still fucking 260. Who gives a fuck, you know? So
What what
that's the game.
what show you gunning for?
I'm gonna do LA Championships mid July and then USA's again.
Let's do it.
I like the USA's. I don't know why, you
Yeah.
know. So that's the. But yeah, but unless you just make getting in shape only, yeah, you should never be on stage out of shape. You could miss a peak and maybe not be as dry or not be as full, but there's no excuse for getting on stage with body fat, just body fat. Come on, man, like get that shit off,
For
man.
real.
Like,
Or they're posting pictures leading into a show and they look shredded and then they compete and don't look anything. I'm like, what happened?
I
yeah.
see that so often. I'm like, how do you mess that up that bad?
What happened?
Yeah.
But it's what you said. They're eating. It's
Yeah,
that
there
fork
has
time.
to. There
They're
has to.
cheating on the diet.
Because if you're in true condition, like really low body fat,
You can
even
pretty
if
much
you
stay
miss
on
your
the same food and be fine.
even if you botch the peak, you should still be lean enough to look shredded, right? And now, if your leanness is not real and it's a fake hardness, manufactured from diuretics and drugs, then you can fuck that up pretty fucking easy. So either it wasn't real leanness, it was just fake hardness, or you just completely fucked off the diet. I don't know what to say. You know,
just do the work, get lean, and you're gonna have your best bet every time.
Yeah. Let's say Quentin, he was really flat at New York and lost some muscle, but he was still in shape. You couldn't look at that and say, "Oh, this guy is fat." No, he was still in shape. You can tell something was off, but he was still in shape. So yeah, you definitely should still, regardless of the outcome, you should be in condition. You know. All right. Who after prep is narcoleptic? I think most of the off season. I gotta be honest. Most.
Once my food gets up a little bit, so by the end of December here, I'm gonna be like, I'm peacing out for 12 hours. I'm taking a nap.
But like directly after the prep is really bad. Like because you're still kind of exhausted from the prep, but now you have all these carbs on top of it. So you're like, I'm just nodding off driving. I'm just nodding off all day long. It's kind of dangerous. It's really bad. Really fucking bad.
I've been like that in the past. This year, I've just approached it differently. I'm like, I'm just not going to eat like an asshole. I just stayed on plan. I feel fine. So yeah. You go out and start eating pizza and shit. Yeah, you're gonna be messed up.
Like you want to keep you want to keep a gradual pace, and that's going to be dependent on yourself.
Yeah,
you know, that would be lower for me than it would be for you, but still, based on your baseline diet, you can't just triple the shit, you know. So, okay, I look at it like this, right? My client is having cheat meals now that he wasn't having, so no need to bump up the daily calories if you're getting such a big cheat meal. I want to see what that's doing first. Oh wow, you're up 10 pounds.
Yeah, what does it look like in 7 days? How many more calories are you eating, right?
Yeah, because your cardio just went from 90 minutes to 30 minutes, 90 minutes 6 days a week to 30 minutes 3 days a week. So already that it's creating a shift in your how much you burn versus how much you intake, and then you add another bump of a cheat meal. Now you're here. If I bump your baseline diet, now it just doesn't make sense. So one at a time. We dropped T3. We dropped fat burners. We backed off of T3 or came off T3. No diuretics in your system. You're drinking fluid. You're having more sodium. You're already creating a swing. Another swing. How much you gonna? So you got to take it easy sometimes. You know, if you don't have any cheat meals, then cool. I'll raise it. But most people want some cheat meals here and there. So the perfect way to control that is be careful with the cheat meals. You know. Okay.
And you just went to war. You're not in battle. You just went to war for 8 weeks. You gotta respect your body. It needs a break. It needs to take a nap. Take a nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's part of the process. You're running on a mental high the whole time and a physical high, and now it's over, and you're like, your body just shuts down sometimes. Take the rest.
It's tough, man.
I know.
It is because you're so fucking hungry, but you have to you have to treat it like prep. You have to treat at least the next 4 weeks like prep, because if not, you're gonna ruin the off season. You know?
I couldn't sleep like the 2 weeks after the Texas Pro because of what everyone was telling me. They were like, "You gotta go you gotta go do another show. You gotta get to the like so much pressure and stress." Yeah. But once I called it off, boom, I was knocked out, sleeping like a baby.
Yeah. To be honest, I can't trust my own judgment from 4 weeks out to 4 weeks past the show in anything. Financial decisions, life decisions, relationship decisions, bodybuilding decisions. I can't. I'm a maniac, but I don't know I'm a maniac until I feel better. Then I'm like, holy fuck, I was a fucking maniac.
I did all that.
Hey, I did all that. What the fuck? I fucking. I bought a Hellcat. I bought a dog. I moved. Fucking. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? This is not. It's not sound decisions. You know. So you have to you have to respect the fact that you're not normal. So maybe don't pull the trigger on whatever you're thinking about. Take a step back. You know. Even judging your own. Even judging your own physique after the show, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at. You think you're fat, you think you're small, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at. You don't know why you placed where you placed. You don't know anything. So
the only thing that helps that is experience. The more and more you do this, the more you realize when someone tells me I should do this, you know what you should do. Like you know, you were saying you were stressing out about it. And I've done that in the past, and I did a show where it cost an extra $4,000, and you dieted for 5 more weeks, and the outcome was worse. And it was like, well, if I'd have just listened and just gone right in the off season, you take the learning experience, but you know what you got to do normally.
I mean, also, like, I'm not the richest person in the world. I can't. I have sponsors to help me, but like I'm smart with my money. I plan and I budget and I do everything I'm supposed to do, but I didn't do it for multiple shows. I just had one show in mind. And then it's like, hold up, y'all are telling me to go do some stuff, and I got other stuff I got to take care of that I've got already on my schedule, and you're telling me like, yeah, you're screwing me up here, stressing me out. So like when I turned pro, everybody, I remember David Bay did a podcast on me, and he said that I should have gone and did the Chicago Pro right when I turned pro. Hell no, I would have got smoked, wasted my time, and there was less muscle on my physique when I turned pro than there is now. So it's like, what people want for you is not what you should always do, I think.
I agree.
You should be your coach, coaching you, and maybe your significant other that are making those decisions, right?
For sure. I feel like damn, I just went completely blank. I was gonna say that. What did you just say? What did you just say, Alyssa? The last thing you
other
said.
people have you ever been forced to do a show or like pressured into doing a show and it looked like shit?
Yeah, you I don't know, but I feel like that's something that you have to for choosing shows. I think you do have to trust your gut to a point, but also your coach is important to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a judge will say, "Hey, do this show," and with all due respect, sometimes it's like, "Nah."
The judges always say, "Do this show, man." They're promoting big business. They're trying to make money, and that's good. Exactly. It's good, but
to the virgin ears, the unexperienced, they're gonna be like, "What? This judge wants me to? I'm going because this judge, like, man, every judge is gonna say that."
100%. I think I prefer riding the high of your victory. Like you turn pro, wow, I'm pro, and then going straight to a pro show. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you should ride that high of that victory. But I don't know. That's just like a personal, I guess.
Like you said, you budget, Alyssa, and you had things already set and planned, and I kind of had that too, and there was no show for me right after. If there was, I probably would have planned on doing it just because I was right there.
Yeah.
But in the spring, I'm not going to do it in the spring. I'm going to give myself a good off season, see where we're at in the spring, and see if we're ready. If we're not, we'll just keep pushing.
Exactly.
I have an idea of what I want to look like more than my coach, more than the judges, and that's what I'm building, right? So it's like then I'm ready,
For sure.
Some people, their coach kind of coaches their entire career. Some people down to even like financial advice. Some people's coach pick out their show, pick out everything.
Their outfits, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally, it's weird. It's weird, dude.
I have some clients that need that. And we're talking, the young clients that are 20, 22. They're females. They're just moving out of their house. They're ready for a pro qualifier. And you got to help them out. They haven't been through a lot of life yet, right? So you work with them as much as you can, because that's the difference. I'm not making their decisions. I'm doing suggestions, and then they, feedback, and you say, well, then you need to take a step back for a year and get those handled before you move on, right? So
like most people ask, "Hey, what's your plan for next season?" They'll be like, "You know what? I'm thinking of probably hit up maybe New York, Detroit, whatever." Boom. And some people, I'll be like, "Oh, what you thinking for next year?" I have no idea. I have to talk to my coach. No idea, like zero. No, even get no guess. Nope. My coach is gonna let me know. I'm like, damn, like I would think you have you know a little bit, some of
Right.
it. Some people they're just disconnected. I'm like,
Mhm.
I guess if it works for you, who am I to say anything? But I feel like it's your career though. You should still have to steer in the ship to a point. I don't know.
I agree.
Whatever works for you, I guess. Okay. What's the weirdest thing you've seen somebody do backstage before a competition? I've seen somebody training his abs. I thought that was weird. Like doing crunches on the floor. I'm like, I don't think an ab pump is what you need right now, personally. But hey, who knows? Maybe his abs look great on stage.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've
I try not to go backstage until I'm like 10 minutes from stepping on stage first. And then if I am backstage, I'm laying down with my eyes closed and headphones in, so I'm not paying attention. But
I saw somebody who's at the time was a pretty popular bodybuilder.
I got a
We were
story.
like backstage. There was like a bathroom backstage. It's a weird setup. I think it was like a school, and backstage there was like a bathroom there. So we were kind of like hanging out by the bathroom. Kind of a strange setup, but I saw him go into the stalls and come out and then start eating a can of jelly. And then I was like, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, that's interesting, But
how's
I
that
don't
fruit?
I
Well,
don't think that's a
I
great idea personally, but hey.
when I guest posed for at the RGV last year in 2023, I was backstage. I wasn't competing, but there was a kid that this is crazy. He got kicked out backstage because he was a full blown competitor, but when he was trying to go up on stage, he had a fat suit on. Like it was like a t-shirt, but when you put it on, the rubbery fat like gut,
Yeah, yeah.
and he had like a microphone sticking out, and they like caught him right
Oh
before
man.
he went out
Yeah,
on stage.
that's
Like,
not gonna happen.
damn, that's not cool. That's so disrespectful.
That's not gonna happen. Um, I've seen somebody with like a portable blow dryer doing a blow drying thing. That's like an old school thing though. It's supposed to make you
What's that
vascular.
for? To dry you out or warm you up?
Vascular.
It
Hmm.
makes you
Yeah,
vascular.
because
Uh-huh.
warming yourself up like that is smart, because what I do to stay warm backstage is I'll wear multiple pairs of socks, but this year I brought my heating pad, and that's what I laid on and kept my feet. If you keep your feet warm, the rest of your body's gonna be warmer. So, and those little hand things you shake and they get hot hands.
Yeah, yeah.
I had those, and I would keep them in my jacket pocket, keep my hands and my feet warm, and I stayed lit up
Hmm.
that way.
What does that do for you being warm, in particular?
Vascular. It just quicker pump,
Uh-huh.
just tight. You just hotter,
Yeah,
fuller,
yeah.
vascular.
Okay, what I will say is this: I don't need to be super warm, but when I'm cold, my physique looks worse for sure. If I'm just free,
Oh
if I'm really
yeah.
cold, my body doesn't look as good. It just looks
Hell
like
no.
flat and watery when I'm,
Yeah,
if you're just fucking
for sure.
freezing, it's not
And
not a
especially
good
when
look.
you're backstage at a big ass convention where it's just like sky high ceilings and you're just in a cold building with
Yeah, yeah.
fucking cold floors. So
With naked,
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
yeah.
literally you literally feel your look changing. You can feel it
Like,
as you get colder. You're
when
like,
you're backstage getting glazed up, that's like the worst time right
uh,
before you start getting pumped up, because you're like, fuck, now I got to get my body like going, and
I hate that feeling.
it,
Yeah,
it's a process.
I'm hot blooded, man. I got no problem. Just
you don't get
my
cold.
Yeah.
problem is not sweating. That's my
Okay,
problem.
Yes.
I
I
don't.
go the other way.
I take my clothes off last second because you know how they are. Hey, heavyweights line up. I'm like, motherfucker, it's gonna be another 40
2
minutes. I'm not
hours.
lining. I'm not fucking lining up. Hey, number 37. I'm not saying shit. Wait, motherfucker. I'm not going to stand there and fucking cold and naked for 30 minutes, bro. So I'll wait till they're lined up before I take my stuff off. I don't pump up neither. So when I'm back there, I'll just flex, pose. Maybe I'll do a couple of push-ups, but I'm not doing these hour workouts. I'm going to lose my pump and not be able to get it back. So
I always will take a shot of vodka or tequila too, because that'll warm me up and just ignite the pump a little bit. So
Yeah. Get you a little bit mentally. I think it puts you in a good relaxed state too. Less shaking, shit like that.
I feel like you could just feel the warmth go across your body, and then it's go time.
Yeah. There was in 20, I think that was last year. I hadn't drank for I don't know how long, so I didn't really know where my tolerance was at. So I took a couple shots, and I got a little nicer than I wanted to. So it starts hitting me, and I'm like third to go on. I'm like, whoa, this hit me hard. So I woke up on stage. I just posted that routine like a couple days ago. Think I
I
have blue
watched
trunks
it.
on. So I had I don't practice my routines, but I practice in my head. So I had a routine, and I was like, whoa, wait, I completely forgot the routine. So I was like, fuck it, let me hit them with a spin. I was like, a spin always nice to hit them with a spin, and and then I don't know what the fuck happened after that. I was like, did I just I posed like shit, and I watched it. I was like, it wasn't my best, but it looked like it looked like something. I was like, oh, that wasn't bad. But in my head, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm on the floor. I'm like, why am I on the floor right now? Why am I doing this shit? I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? When have I ever done this shit?
That's
You
how
know?
I feel every time. That's just how I feel. That's
But then
so
looking at
funny.
it, I was like, it looked kind of cool. You know, it was a little bit iffy for me, my standards. But the general competitor, they're probably like, wow, that was fucking, because some of these super heavyweight guys, because it doesn't really count. So some guys just go like this and then walk off the stage. So in comparison, they were like, wow, that was pretty good. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, I thought it was shit, but thank you, man.
He
So
said, "Why the fuck am I on the floor?"
I remember, I think Janicki was behind me. So me and him was talking. They were like, next, are you up? And I was like, oh shit. And I went up, was like, uh-oh. So I was walking super slow. And people were like, that was a great walk. I was thinking, if you look at me, I'm thinking like, what the fuck am I, what's the routine again? I'm like, so I'm taking my time. I'm like, oh, fuck it. Hit him with a spin. And then
hit him with the spin. I love it.
hit him with the spin. And I wait. But even that spin, it wasn't a textbook spin. It was shaky, but fuck it. Who's counting? Effort, right? As long as you give a little bit of effort, this goes a long way. Okay. Do you practice your routines, Alyssa? No, right?
No. Somewhat, if you consider I use guest posings to kind of practice my performance, but I don't have planned routines. I have planned poses I want to hit for certain reasons, but no, every routine has been freestyled.
Honestly, though, when you can move like you move, you
It's
just move.
when you get peeled to the bone and you want to use every second to show off your conditioning. Poses and transitions are used to flaunt and accentuate certain body parts. So I'm simply just trying to show off my detail, and that's just whatever comes out comes out.
Yeah. Keon says the extent of his practicing is putting on an R&B song and just hitting random poses. And it looks great on stage, but it's because his transitions are poses. So he's just posing with poses in between the poses, but he makes it look really good,
For sure.
But he's just hitting his favorite poses with good transitions, So you know,
And I've made posing routines for so many people over the past couple years. It's like there's only so many poses you can use and combination of poses, and so sometimes things get repetitive, but to someone new, it's new. That's why I feel so repetitive every time I do a routine. I'm like, damn, I did this last time, I did this, but there's always a new person in the crowd or a new person watching your video on social media, so it's new to them. So I just remember that the repetition part is what is good. So
yeah. And you always want to pose for your physique. That's important because sometimes you look up to people and then you want to pose like them, but it's not in your cards.
right.
There was a year Arnold kind of shitted on the posing, and then people started posing to like R&B songs. And I saw Max Charles hitting floor poses and shit. I'm like, I don't want to see Max Charles on the floor. I just don't want to see Max Charles on the floor. It
Right.
just it just didn't go with his physique. He wasn't the only one. I feel like a lot of people were trying too hard to do things that hit poses that they didn't know how to hit. that doesn't make you look better. It makes you look worse. So I don't want to see Rafe hit a split on stage. I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I want to see
I
it.
Me personally, I want to see him hit most musculars, some side chest action. You know, strong poses. I feel like that would suit his physique better. You should kind of get like a feel for it. You know, just for your body. You know, and that's what Branch did. You know, and there were shows where he won best poser, but it wasn't because he graced the stage. He posed for his body, and he got people riled up. That's that's what he should do for his body personally. You know, so. All right, let's do one more so I can eat something. Do you ever get nervous? How do you guys feel about pressure from social media? Well, I guess in general.
I'm I'm a little older, so I didn't get into social media until I was like 30.
Okay,
So
okay.
to me, it's just another form of business. So I don't
Yes.
utilize it like maybe a 15-year-old,
Influencer.
20-year-old.
Yeah, like an influencer.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
use it to influence people. I use it to show quality of videos and people and all that. But it's more
yeah.
to it's just part of the business and to share. People want to follow your story. They're following you for a reason. So give them something to follow. But I don't stress about it.
You don't care. Do you feel any outside pressure, or not
Do
really at
I?
all?
No,
Yeah.
not anymore.
Okay.
No, I'm doing this for me first,
Yeah, yeah.
and then everything else follows from that. So if it's not for me, then I'm not trying to be someone else. I'm just being me. What you see is just authentically me all the time.
You know how fans get angry when somebody like doesn't do a show or pull out of a show, and it's like I get it. Fans are obviously great for the sport. They keep, but who the fuck are you to tell somebody what the fuck they should do? Like, what the fuck? Just because this
The
person is showing you their lives.
highlight reels of their life, right? Just the highlights.
I'm gonna I'm
They
gonna
do what's going on.
I'm gonna call someone out because that dude Elliot pulled out, and it's like he pulls out at every show. He's supposed
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
nationals, but it's like no one's telling him what to do. He's telling everyone what he's gonna do, and then doesn't do it.
I think I think that's why people get upset with him because he keeps saying the same thing but repeating the pattern. Like
Mhm.
if something is going wrong with your health, then you have to fix that, you know. So it always seems to be the same story. I think that's what gets people, But like you said, he's the one putting it out there. Like this is it. This is the comeback. This is so that's more on him than anything. You know what I'm saying? But but
I think you get like one chance, right? You get a mistake, but try not to repeat it.
It's like me. I pulled out of that Reno show because I was sick. If I say I'm doing Texas Pro and then I pull out again, that doesn't look good on my record.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
repetitive.
When Nick pulled the hammy, I don't think anybody besides Milos said he should have done it. I don't think we wanted to see a swollen purple leg on stage. I don't think we wanted to see that. But then this second time, because of well, I guess he didn't give an excuse. Matt kind of gave an excuse, but people went hard on him. Then they went hard on Matt after the fact. But yeah, once you kind of get a pass, second time people kind of get like, wait, what's going on here? You know, I I personally think that's more Matt's fault than his because he trusts Matt 100%, so he's gonna follow Matt. I think Matt should have just been like, "Hey, it ain't happening right now. I'm just busy. Let me send you to a different coach. Something. I don't know." Because he wasn't gonna leave Matt again on his choice, you know. So I think that was up to Matt to send him somewhere else. So I personally wouldn't fall him on that, but I can see the fans getting upset not seeing somebody 2 years in a row, and the reason just didn't sound very good, you know. But in general, if you give access to your life as far as posting on social media, I don't think the athlete owes you to do every show you want them to do per se, you know, just because they have a life too, you know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of your own journey to choose.
I
But
think
you do have a point, Alyssa, as far as
fans in every sport are the same, though, right?
yeah, yeah. Okay, like Rubio, because you said Elliott, and Rubio falls into a similar thing. Well, he doesn't even speak English, so I've never actually heard him say he's doing anything. But but his team keeps saying he's doing this and doing that and doing this and then he's nowhere to be found. That's gonna hurt your image. That it is what it is. You can't. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. You know, so you probably shouldn't commit. And some of these promoters are judges. You know, so you don't want to tell Steve, "Yeah, I'm doing New York. I'm doing it next year. I'm doing it next year. And then you don't show up. I wouldn't recommend that. It's just that's not a good relationship builder. It's just not. So you gotta be careful. But
It's
I
at
guess
the end of the day, it's business, right? Really
yeah,
is.
yeah. You know, I guess we don't know what's going on in Rubiel's life, but
Right.
I don't know. It's just it doesn't look that good when you do that. So they're the balance. When you're in that position, you're gonna get some critique, and I guess it's a privilege, right? What does Bumster say? Pressure is a privilege. So when you're in a position where you're making the big bucks, sometimes you have to deal with the bullshit as well. You know. Do you
100%.
feel any pressure from social media, Alyssa?
Not from social media, just from post Texas Pro. That was the only time I felt pressure. Because I don't let anybody in really. And at the show is when people started getting into my head, and that's where it fucked me up. Because I don't let people get in. Me and my
Yeah,
coach, we do our thing. Like you said, how do people not know what they're gonna do next year? I always have a plan. I'm in control. My coach just can take the reins when I need him to. But yeah, after the Texas Pros, the only time I felt pressure or
yeah,
whatever you want to call it. But I put pressure on myself, I think, because now I see myself in that top spot and I have to prove it to myself. So
yeah.
I also talk my shit. I'm a shit talker. I'm gonna say like I want to be the best in the world. I see myself as best in the world, but I just have to
Yeah.
prove it. But that's me to myself.
That was gonna be my answer. The only pressure that matters is the pressure on yourself. That's it. You know, what pressure do you have? I guess that goes back to these shows we're talking about. You want the Texas Pro. That's your own pressure. Nobody's saying, "Hey, Alyssa, we don't fuck with you unless you win the Texas Pro." Your fans fuck with you regardless, but that's your own pressure, and that's valid. I think your own pressure motivates you. It doesn't distract you, right? Because it's your own pressure. You know.
Yeah, because I see myself. I say this humbly as Miss Olympia one day, not now, but also you don't see Miss Olympia Sarah Villegas like doing show after show after show. She has 1 year to mentally and physically, emotionally, spiritually prep, and one egg, one basket, and that's how I've always done my shows. I wasn't a let's do a show and then a show and then a show. It's one egg, one basket, and like my coach wants me to do an early show like New York or something, and I'm like no, I just that's going to stress me out because mentally I can only do what I want to do, which is the Texas Pro, and he fully supports that, but he thinks it's for my career smarter to get the qualification then do the Texas Pro then the Olympia, but because he's saying well what if Natalia shows up to Texas Pro because she wants a 15 grand check right before the Olympia or something. Like, well, I don't fucking know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. In fact, yeah, yeah. You,
I think for
you,
the younger kids that might be dealing with the pressure that they're having, we have a little bit more experience dealing with it, right? But if you're fresh on it, you're just starting in the sport, you're just starting to do some local shows, you're going to have a little bit more pressure, and you just got to really hone in on your own craft. Just hone in on you. Your
Don't,
mindset.
yeah, and don't worry about the competition. The competition is
Exactly.
always going to be there. Just literally focus on being better.
Like
That's
yeah,
that's how you get rid of that pressure.
I never
for
even look
sure.
at who's showing up to the show. It don't freaking matter. It matters how I
Who
show up.
cares?
So you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Bro, who cares? People do that all the time. Hey, did you hear this guy's doing a show? Did you hear?
Who
No, I didn't
cares?
hear. Oh, do you know who was going to be in division? No, because they're usually not the person you have to worry about anyway. They're usually some random person that nobody knows who the fuck they are. That's usually the head. You know, it's irrelevant. Wow,
At
it doesn't
the
matter.
when I guest posed at the Kukla Classic, which was like 2-3 months before Texas Pro, I I was around industry people, so they're like, Freddie said that Zama was doing the show because he's the promoter. and he said that she's doing the show. I'm like, well, there goes my fucking win because she's third in the world. Like, there goes my. But I didn't let that. Like, I heard it, and then what I do is I tell people around me, don't talk about it. Like, I don't know, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not hearing it, if you're not talking about it, if you're not seeing it, you don't have to think about it. So I get a little psychotic, but I have reasons behind everything I do, and it's simply just to be the best me. So but yeah. So
I think especially as your popularity grows, if you're a really popular bodybuilder and you're, I don't know, 4-6 weeks out, like we talked about, you're not yourself. So mentally, you're a little bit off your game, off your A game. So I think that's when shit can creep in, and that's when you have to be careful. Most of the top guys that I know personally, that last month or so, they're not interacting on social media. They don't even want anything to seep into their subconscious. Even if they're like, I don't care, they don't even want that subconscious thing, because like comments, I don't feel nothing for comments. But I will say, I'm not gonna lie, like 6 weeks out, it means a little bit more. I start to maybe dwell on things a little bit too much. Like, what do you mean by that? Why you say that? Even, it could be somebody random at the gym, like, what do you say about my red delts? I need more red delts. Why would you say that? Right? So I started to think about things too long, so I just try not to talk about, oh, how you looking? Let's see. No, you're not gonna peel off. Nope. Have a nice day. I don't want to peel off, motherfucker. So
if it's too much for you, shut it down for a bit. Limit yourself. Limit certain times a day. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple. It's called self-discipline, right? And you practice it in the sport anyway, so you might as well practice it there.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, this is my life and my job, and this is everything I live for. So when I do a show, I'm as serious as a heart attack. Like, I don't get off of Instagram to like avoid. I get off so I can focus on my job. And you have a job to do, which is show up at your best, and everything you do prior, it's for that one time on prejudging stage. Like, Instagram ain't shit. Like, that's all entertainment in the off season. Once it's prep time, I'm on there just for entertainment and maybe some business purposes, but pre-contest, I don't give two shits about Instagram because there's a job to do. And I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody at my gym or on Instagram. It's going to show up on stage because that's realistically the only thing that matters in bodybuilding is what you do on stage. It's not what you do in the gym, on Instagram, TikTok, none of that. It's literally that stage look, what matters.
For sure. Every time I prep, I always start like a series. And then like clockwork, once it gets down to like 4-6 weeks out, the series ends. Every single time. I've never actually finished a series because when I get there, I don't give a fuck about no YouTube. I'm like, I don't care. Oh, when's the next episode coming out? Who the fuck knows? I'm not. I don't want a cameraman. I don't want a camera. I don't want a tripod. Get the fuck all that shit. I don't want anymore. Then I just have to tell myself, fuck it. I just don't want to. This is my focus right now, and it takes so much of your mental energy. I don't even bring my gym back to the gym. When I get to that point, there's no wraps, there's no headphones. I walk into the gym like this, just bare bodied. That's it. I don't want to carry anything.
1,500 calories in you.
Yeah. I don't have the bandwidth to even worry about, oh, do I have my wrist wraps? I just come in there and just get the shit done and get the fuck out of there. I just can't be bothered. So I don't care about my outfits. I don't care about what I'm wearing. Nothing matters. I'm just trying to get through this shit. So I never could do it, unless I pay somebody to just be a fly on the wall. That's the only way I could finish a series. I have to just set it up before I get to that point, because if I get to that point, I'm not contacting anybody for that. So I kind of want to show it. Just to show how just to see how shitty I'm behaving and looking, just for my own, All right, man. All right, guys, we've been on for a while. Let me go feed this dog, take him for a walk, get some exercise. He's over here having nightmares, rolling around on the bed.
He's getting
Shooting my
big.
fellas up.
Thank you guys for
Nice to
coming on.
meet you,
Well,
Ray.
Okay, you too.
we're gonna get back on and discuss the Nationals probably Sunday, right?
Let's do it.
If it's done by Sunday, we'll hop back on here, discuss that. It should be fun. I mean, it should be a good show, honestly.
Are they doing a live stream? Or are you going, Ray?
I'm not, but I think Freddie puts that show on as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive.
So it's gonna be a good venue. Everybody was loving it from last year, I heard. So
It's the same spot as the Texas Pro where you were, Beatty.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's a really good venue for Nationals.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's a great venue.
That's where they held the Battle of Texas last weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
From what I hear, a lot of people are going to be there too at Nationals. A lot of people. You going, Alyssa? No. Okay. You go. It's
I
gonna
want
be
to.
I checked plane tickets. It was like $1,800 round trip. I'm like, I ain't spending that right now.
I budgeted it was going to be like 500. I was like, I'm okay. I'm going to save $500.
I was thinking about that, but Paul was planning it out and he was giving us the rates and stuff, and I'm like, but then I'm thinking about the Arnold, the New York Pro, USA's, Olympia. I'm like, it's gonna be.
I'm thinking, like, is it toxic that I'm thinking about like my workouts? Like, I don't want to fall off my plan.
No, completely fine.
Because I feel like such a hermit. Like, I don't talk to nobody. I have my roommate that I see once in a while when he's home. Like, I feel like such a loner that it's like I feel like I should get out, but then I'm like, nah, fuck that. I want to stay in my regimen. I battle that mentally.
You end up getting over it the more you do it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have any problem just saying no, I'm not going. I got to train. I got my meals to eat. I ain't leaving.
No, so sometimes I'm like, I get invited to this party or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I should really go. I have all these friends who I should do it. And the day comes and I'm like, nah, I'm not fucking going. I'm not going. What the fuck am I talking about? Even like, I used to be like, hey boy, you want to train back tomorrow? I got shoulders, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's do back. Now, that actually happened to me yesterday. My friend was like, hey, you wanna skip back today and do it tomorrow? I left that shit on red. I didn't know what to say because I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to change up the program.
I don't think it's toxic, Alyssa. Like, this is what you're doing for a job. It's what you're trying to do. You got to hone in hard. You know what I mean? It's all you right now.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So I've skipped out on every show around me. Texas State, Battle of Texas, all these shows. I won't travel. It's almost like I have a fear of traveling because I'm so like stuck to what I do.
Yeah. No, I get it, but you love it too. Or you probably wouldn't do it if you didn't love it,
Well, like I need to go home to Florida and see my family. And it's like a 13, 14-hour drive. And I know how that affects me physically. But then I'm like, I don't necessarily have a gym when I go over there. I'm going to not train for however many days. I'm like, but it's like, I don't want to avoid my family, but I'm trying to be number one to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm battling right now.
You could give that week to your family. I think that's healthy, very healthy. I mean, I'm sure you could probably find some kind of gym to get some kind of pump workout. It won't be ideal, but I feel like I feel like you can make it. You can make it work for your lifestyle.
True.
Yeah. My family they're pretty understanding. They don't like make me feel uncomfortable and stuff like that. But deep in prep, I still want to avoid it though. In prep, I kind of have to avoid it, But off season, I go hang out with them. Even if I do my own thing as far as food, they don't seem to care. You know what I'm saying? But all right, y'all.
Right on, guys.
I'm gonna talk to y'all Sunday.
Later.